Good afternoon to all of you. In this class, let us start to discuss about the power supply to our computer system. Here, in this power supply, the power means electrical power. Power means electrical power. This electrical power is the main sources of our computer system to perform the different operations. Why we need to supply this electrical power to our computer system means the computer is an electronic machine. So, it requires the electrical power to perform its operation. So, the continuous power supply which is essential for our computer to preventing all the failures and also shutdown or breakdown. This electrical power is the main sources of our computer because the computer is an electronic machine. So, it requires the electrical power to performing a different operation. So, the continuous power supply is essential for our computer system to preventing all the breakdowns and shutdown or failure. This power supply which can be divided into two types. This power supply divided into two types. One is SMPS, another one is UPS. Here, this SMPS which stands for switched mode power supply. Switched mode power supply. Here, the UPS it stands for uninterruptible power supply. Uninterruptible power supply. So now let us start to discuss the functions of this SMPS. This SMPS is a metal box in the rear of our system which is connected to our computer chassis and the system board. This SMPS is a metal box which is connected to a computer chassis and a system board. This SMPS which contains power card plug, and a fan for cooling. This SMPS it contains the power card plug and a fan for a cooling because this SMPS itself it generates a lot of heat. So absorbing that lot of heat, this contains the power card plug and a fan for the cooling in it. And the main function of this SMPS is it converts alternating current to direct current. The main function of this SMPS is it converts the alternating current to direct current. Here, why we need to converting from AC to DC means to storing for the purposes of storing all the electrical energy. Here we need to converting from AC to DC means for the purpose is to storing all the electrical energy because in the AC alternative signals cannot be stored any electrical energy, but in the DC all the signals are storing the electrical energy. So for the purposes of storing the electrical energy, we have to convert it from AC to DC. This main function which is performed by this SMPS. These are the functions of this SMPS. The second power supply to our computer system is uninterruptible power supply. Then what is this UPS? This UPS is a device. This UPS is a device which provides the battery backup to our computer system when the electrical power gets failure. This UPS is a device which provides battery backup to our system. when the electrical power gets failure. And another function is this UPS, it ensures there is no interruption between our computer system and the main circuitry. This UPS which ensures there is no interruption between our computer and the main circuitry system in the case of unexpected power failure. So, the another function is this UPS, it keeps our computer system for running in a several time or minutes. This UPS which keeps our computer for running in a several times or minutes after the electrical power gets failure, and which is enable us to store the data immediately. Which are stored in the RAM memory. This UPS which keeps our computer for running in a several times or minutes after the electrical power gets failure, and which is enabling us to store all the data and information immediately after the electrical power gets failure, which are the data are stored in the RAM memory, because the RAM is a volatile memory, and because if suddenly electrical power gets failure, the data will be completely erased in the RAM memory. So this UPS enabling us to store all this data and information which are stored in the RAM memory immediately. So this is the main function of the UPS. This electrical power supply, which is divided into two types. One is SMPS and another one is UPS. This SMPS stands for switched mode power supply, and it is a metal box attached to our computer system board, and it contains the power cord plug and a fan for cooling to preventing the heat generating by itself, and which is converting from AC to DC. That means the purposes of storing the electrical energy. So the second one is UPS. This UPS stands for uninterruptible power supply. This UPS is a devices that provides the battery backup to our computer system when the electrical power gets failure suddenly. So, and it will ensure there is no interruption between our computer system and the main circuit board when the electrical power gets failure suddenly, and it keeps our computer for running in a several times after the electrical power failure, and which is enabling us to store all the data and information which are stored in the RAM memory immediately, because the RAM is a volatile memory. If anything damages occurs from the unexpected power failure, all the data and information erased in the RAM memory, hence it is a volatile in nature. So now this UPS, which is again divided into two types. This UPS, which is again divided into two types. One is online UPS, another one is standby UPS. These UPS have the two types. One is online UPS, another one is standby UPS. Now let us see what are the functions we perform both the types of UPS. This online UPS, which avoids the power lapses. This online UPS, which avoids the power lapses by continuously providing the powers from its inverter, even the power line is functioning properly. This online UPS avoids the power lapses inverter, even the power line is functioning properly, and this online UPS which is also maintains the consistent current flow to protecting our all the network equipments in the case of suddenly breakdowns or suddenly failures the electrical power. This online UPS which is maintains the consistent current flow for protecting of all our network equipments from the unexpected power failure. So this standby UPS. The second one is standby UPS. This standby UPS which is monitors all the powers and switches to our battery. It monitors all power and switches to battery, and as soon as it detects the problem, and which is protects the all our hardware devices and the computer system under different modems. This standby UPS which monitors all the powers and switches to our battery, and as soon as it detects all the problems, and which is providing a security for our hardware devices and modems in our computer system. This is about online UPS and standby UPS. So in this concept, the power supply is important for 3 marks in your examination. They are asking about what is the types of power supply for 3 marks. Then you write, one is SMPS and one is UPS. Suppose if they are asking individual power supply, they are asking 3 marks for only SMPS, and here asking for 1 marks for the definitions or abbreviation of this SMPS. Similarly, they are asking 3 marks for the function of whole UPS in your examination, and 1 marks for the what is the major function or what is the abbreviation, what is the definition of the UPS is 1 mark. So this power supply is important for your examination. So now, as per the syllabus, typical configuration of a computer system, the last unit is configuration of computer system. The last unit is configuration of computer system. This is the last concept in your first unit. Then what is a configuration? This configuration is a process of setting all the hardware devices and allocating the resources to the hardware devices. So all our hardware devices are working together without any problem. This hardware devices configuration is a process of setting up hardware devices, and also allocating resources to our hardware devices. This configuration is the process of setting out our hardware devices and allocating the resources to these hardware devices. So all the hardware devices of our computer systems are working together without any problem. So this configuration which consists of many components. So now let us briefly discuss about the components of our computer system. This configuration of a computer system which is consisting of many components. Already about this all the components we discussed in the previous classes. So now we are go through briefly on these components of our computer system. There are many components are there. The first one is processor. This processor is called as CPU. This CPU, which is controls and coordinates all the operations of our computer system. Hence, the CPU or processor is called a brain of the computer. So, this is the major function of this processor. The second component is motherboard. This motherboard is also called as main circuit board. This motherboard is also called as main circuit board, which is located inside of our computer system. So, all the internal components of our computer systems are communicating to this motherboard. This motherboard is a main circuit board. So, all the internal components of our computer system which is communicating to this motherboard. So, third unit is memory unit. In this memory unit, here the memory which is refers to a electronic storing spaces for all the data and instructions. This is a electronic storing spaces for all the data and instructions where our computer processor can reach quickly. So, this memory is divided into two types. One is a primary memory, another one is secondary memory. So, this primary memory and secondary memory, which both are the storing devices. Here, these primary memories are used to store all the data and instruction temporarily before it going to a particular output devices. But in the secondary memory, here it stores all the data and instructions permanently. It can be used in a future days. So, the best example of the secondary memory is hard disk drives, floppy disk, and the primary memory and secondary memory. These are the memory unit. The fourth one is input unit. Here, input unit, which here the users are communicating with the computer through this input unit. The input unit are keyboard, mouse, scanner, joystick. These are all the inputs units. Users are, by using these inputs units, he is inserting its data in the form of input to a computer for the processing. The next unit is output unit. These output units are used to gives the result to our users who are given to a input to our computer. So, these output units are producing the results in the form of information. The information means processed data. After the data processing, it giving a meaningful information. So, these output units are used to produce the result for the users. And the sixth one is UPS. This UPS is also one of the component of our computer system, which is protecting our all the hardware devices from the against the damages from the unexpected power failure. So, these are all the major components of our computer system. So, this configuration of a computer system which is consisting these components. So, these are all about our first unit. As I told in the previous session, in this first unit, they are asking a 4 marks question. Here, 1 marks for the definition, 1 marks for the definition. These 3 marks questions, they are asking more possible questions in the 3 marks part. The major 1 marks question is, there, for example, they are asking what is a motherboard, the definition of motherboard, and the microprocessor, and they are asking about bus. Here the 3 unit bus also they are asking possible for 1 marks, that is data bus, address bus, and 6th one is control bus. Here they are asking 1 marks for the bus definitions or its function, and another possibility is they are asking another 3 units of buses address bus, data bus and control bus scoring 1 marks. So another one is they are asking abbreviation for SMPS or UPS, or they are asking function of this UPS and SMPS for 1 marks. These are all about 1 marks possible question in your examination. So the 3 marks possible questions are one is what is a motherboard? What is motherboard? Here in this components, different components, they are asking particular components for 3 marks. So components of a motherboard and characteristics of motherboard and the different types of a motherboard. These 3 questions are possible on the motherboard concept. The second one is in the memory unit, they are asking about cache memory and different types of two different types of memory unit, that is a primary memory or a secondary memory. If they are asking the different types of primary memory means RAM and ROM. Next, the third question is they are asking on power supply. That is one is SMPS, another one is UPS. So these are all the possible 3 marks questions in your examination. So these are all about our first unit. So I will stop here. I understood all you guys are understood this first unit. We will continue in the next class from the